Alright, here is a tutorial on installing characters using Tribute. If you're not already in the Tribute Discord, make sure to join that. The link will be in the description. I believe when you first join, you're going to be stuck here in the Welcome channel. Just go up to the Rules channel and click the checkmark here on this message. In the Official Tools channel is where Tribute is released. Make sure you are always on the latest Tribute update as of recording. This is 3.42. Additionally, you're going to need the modding tools provided to you by PW Mods. All you have to do is subscribe to the Patreon. The $5 tier is fine. For some, I know this is a big ask, so we are running a giveaway on Twitter. All you have to do is follow me and PW Mods on Twitter, subscribe to this YouTube channel, reply with a screenshot of your subscription, and retweet. For this tutorial, we are using Joe Mashup's Will Ospreay as an example from his Bash in Berlin pack. So, what you want to do is open up Tribute. If this is your first time installing Tribute, you just gotta put this Tribute folder onto your desktop or wherever you want to keep it. Really simple. I have mine already installed, so I'm just gonna go ahead and update it real quick. All I have to do is overwrite whatever files I have in here. And then we're going to go ahead and overwrite the exe. And then open up Tribute. Might go black for a little bit. There we go. So you have Tribute open. We're installing Will Ospreay. Type 1 to open up the character creation menu. First of all, wrestler ID. If this is your first character mod, just leave it blank. It'll auto-assign an ID for you. For me, I have a lot of wrestlers that I've already installed, so I'm going to put my ID that I know that is a free slot. For the folder render name, this is pretty simple. We're going to name it Will Ospreay. You can name it however you like. You can do it without the underscore or whatever. If you leave it blank, this is what it will look like. Placeholder underscore 104 underscore A0. That's the default, but you can change that. Now for the roster name hash, you want to open up STB editor. If you do not already have an ing.stb file, you can grab one of those from the placeholder mod here. In STB editor, search up your wrestler's name, Will Ospreay. Double click on his name and copy the ID and just paste that over these. The differences in between these, right, is the roster name hash is going to be the name that shows up on the roster. The entrance name will be what shows up on the nameplate, and the match ID is what shows up on the little thing on the corner where your finisher and signatures are. You can have these be different. For example, I believe we can look at CM Punk, who has stuff like this. So say you want him to be CM Punk 11 throughout your roster, but in game, in a match, you want him to just be CM Punk. You can do that. You can make them be different hash IDs. And then for the social hash ID is just the social media handle. So I believe Will Ospreay is just at Will Ospreay. And just paste that in there. Now, this is the stuff that you want to Google, right? You can Google Will Ospreay. What I do is I have the Hype DC. I'll leave a link to this in the description. This is basically a list of every wrestler ever, and it'll have all of their information. It isn't in meters, so you might have to convert that if you don't know that off the top of your head. But it has the weight, the classes, and all that. So, Will Ospreay is 6'1", 190. Make sure it's the height in feet, and then height in inches, and then your weight. Then the weight class, he's a cruiser technician. And then the announcer and commentary ID. The way you want to do this, you can leave it blank, and basically during a match, they will stop after announcing the weight, basically. So it'll be Will Ospreay from London, England, weighing in at 190, but they won't say his name. Or you could try to add his name. All you have to do is open up the commentary ID list, which will be in the tribute help files right here. You can look through this entire list. There are all of the IDs within the game. For example, someone like Karen Compactor. I'm pretty sure this is a jobber from my GM. You can put this ID on Will Ospreay and then replace the audio files in Sound Editor with audio files that match up with Will Ospreay. And then in game, they will say Will Ospreay. But for commentary, you can't really do that because there's a lot of commentary files and you can't add in commentary files. So I leave these blank just to not deal with all the headache of doing the entire process. And finally, hometown ID, which we just grabbed from the hometown ID list, which is here in help files as well, right here. Scroll down to your wrestler's hometown. You can press Control F to look up the city or wherever. 357 is for Will Ospreay. Go ahead and paste that in there and create slot. So we have that character slot created. It'll automatically create the folder for us. So we can scroll down here, Will Ospreay _A0. Let's open up the Will Ospreay mod. So by default, Drum Mashups usually replaces characters within the game. So all we have to do is rename stuff. The base model folder we can just drag in. We don't have to rename anything there. The attire files, drag it into the attire folder here and rename the ID to whatever the ID of the wrestler is. So for my example, 122. And then we can go ahead and bake. Alright, so now that we are in the game, we can go to entrances and we can look for Will Ospreay down here. There he is. The render will be just a placeholder one. We can change that right now in a second. But just to make sure that you guys believe me that it worked, we can open up his entrance. Fast forward a bit here, and there's Will Ospreay. Says his name and everything. Looking good. Alright, so finally we'll just do the render real quick. Let me go find a render. Alright, so I picked up a render. Go ahead, into your Bake Me. We're going to go to UI, Assets, Roster, Type A. It'll automatically create a placeholder one right here. So just go ahead, rename, copy that, and then we can delete it. And then let me grab the render that I had found. Here it is. And then just rename it, paste it on there, and then we can bake again. And now this time when we go find Will Ospreay here in the roster, he will have his picture. There it is, the render. That's it. Real quick, if you are new to modding, make sure you watch my first tutorial, how to mod WWE 2K24. This will go over the basics of modding, as well as I have a folder setup, which is also on my channel. I believe it's the third latest YouTube video on my channel. But that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed.